What's up, guys? This is The Couch. I'm here with my boy Lungani. I am Wenzel. Today we have former Amazulu player, the South African veteran, Simon Kaunga. Right, how you doing, man?
All right, to yourselves. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, wonderful. So we're just gonna have a little icebreaker.
Okay.
Little
I like the intro.
Hey? Yeah.
South African veteran.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting one, huh?
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
interesting one.
We're gonna get into your career a little bit later. Obviously, want to hear a lot about you and your experiences in the football industry, so on and so things that we don't know, man.
All right.
Yeah, things that we don't know. So, I have. What position were you when you were?
Strangely enough, when I started playing, I started off as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And the reason why I started out as a goalkeeper was that I just enjoyed the diving around.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that the older you got, the more difficult goalkeeping started getting. So I started off as a goalkeeper, and then I think it was in my grade 6 year, we had an Afrikaans teacher who used to take us for soccer. So we had two teams. There was the A team and the B team. So he used to take the B team.
Yeah.
So in the B team, unfortunately, on that day, we didn't have enough players. And then he was obviously looking at my height, because when I was in primary school, I think that was about grade 4 or 5, I was tall. So I developed very, very quickly. So then in his mindset, he was like, he took the concepts of rugby and tried to implement it into football.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we don't have enough players. We need strikers. So I was one of the tallest guys in the team, so he eventually put me up front and he got some guy to play goalkeeper. And that's the only time I actually started playing infield. So I started off as a goalkeeper at a young age, and then I went into striker up until I think it was under 10, 11.
Yeah.
Then I transitioned into the midfield. Yeah, into the midfield. I used to be a defensive midfield player.
Yeah.
And that was the time I started playing midfield was based on the first team coach of under 11s, who then converted me from a striker to a midfield player because I had a lot of energy. I just enjoyed running around, so they converted me into the midfield.
Yeah.
As I got older again, when I got to the age of 13, 14, 15, I then started playing right wing and left wing. And that's predominantly where I played majority of my positions.
Sorry,
throughout,
Simon,
yeah.
can we just backtrack a little bit? I just want to find out, when was your dream actually realized? When did you realize, man, soccer's the right path, I should play soccer? Who was the guy that identified your talent, or did you have raw talent?
I think it was my primary school coach, Mr. Green. I think at a young age, I think he's the first person that I encountered that was structured football.
Yeah.
In terms of these are the positions that you play, etc. But throughout starting playing football, it's just for fun. I used to, it was playing at home with my brothers, etc. Run around the backyard, etc. It's not something that I went into like I wanted to play.
Yeah.
I was good at athletics, so I was really good at 100 meters, 200 meters, and long distance. So that was my forte. I enjoyed athletics. And I think I stumbled into football by mistake. I think like everybody does.
Yeah.
And it chooses you pretty much.
Yeah.
So then that's the only time I then started. I think it was around the ages of 13, 14, 15 that I started to obviously look at, hey, I actually enjoy playing football, etc. But I wanted to be an athlete, 100 meter, 200 meter athlete, etc. So I would say it was my primary school coach, Mr. Green, who then introduced me into the structured kind of football, which then started to make sense for me to be able to be like, I actually enjoy doing this, etc. Yeah.
Shout
So
out
it's
Mr. Green if you're watching this. Shout out.
Right. So I have top 5 midfielders.
Let's do this.
Interesting.
I love this.
Top 5 midfielders.
Okay.
And then you have to put them in rankings.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna say that it's
100%.
gonna be as random as possible. Random. Okay. Do you know any, bro?
Midfielders.
Yeah.
I'm not really a soccer fan, but I think Casillas is a midfielder.
He could have been when he was younger.
His footwork. His footwork as a goalkeeper could have made him a midfield player.
Yeah. Our production team is having a good time there.
They're laughing at us.
Yeah, they're having a good time. Okay. You guys can also join if you have any midfielders as well.
Yeah.
Right, let's have
Kevin.
five midfielders.
Okay.
Okay.
Kevin
Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin
De
De
Bruyne.
Bruyne.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
you have to
number
pick.
one.
You have to put him at a ranking.
In the ranking, where would you put him? 1 to 5.
Out of 5.
Yeah. One being the best.
One being the best. I'll put him at 3.
3.
3.
Yeah.
KDB
Put him
at
at
3.
3.
Anybody's got one?
Zidane.
Hey?
Zidane.
Zinedine.
Zinedine Zidane, I'll put him at number 2.
2.
Yes.
Alright.
Number 2.
I've got one.
Okay.
Paul Scholes.
Paul Scholes, I'll put Scholes at number 3.
You've got
So,
You've got 3.
sorry, 3. So I'll put him at number
There's 1, 4, and 5 now.
1, 4, and 5. I'll put him at number 4.
4. Paul Scholes.
I'll put him at number 4, yeah.
Casillas. Now I'm playing. I'm playing. Let's go for. I want to get an oldie like Dennis Bergkamp.
Dennis Bergkamp. Probably I'll put him at number 5.
5.
Yeah.
Five.
Probably put him at number 5.
So you pick number 1 now, like.
Uh-huh.
So we've got Zidane at 2.
Yes,
KDB
yes.
at 3.
Uh-huh.
Paul Scholes at 4.
Yes.
And then Bergkamp at 5.
At 5.
So you tell me like
Someone.
who would be number 1?
Number 1. Let me go back into my archives here. I'm trying to think past and present. I think personally, Andres Iniesta.
Iniesta.
Andres
Iniesta.
Iniesta.
Yeah, that's the one, isn't it?
I think
Andres
he's
Iniesta.
It's just
Yeah.
he's just proper. I mean, like he covers so much of the game, and I never got to watch him as much as probably that you did. Cause
Yes.
I mean, I
Yes.
started watching football in like 2016 or something. But like he's so good.
I think with Andres Iniesta is the type of, that I always say in football there's guys that are born to play football,
Yeah.
and then there's the other guys that you come into football, you enjoy the game, etc. I think Andres Iniesta is part of that the generation of players that are just naturally born to play football. Like whether he trains as hard or whether he does, he's got a football mentality about him, and I think that's what separates him from the rest, is that he can do everything with the ball.
Yeah.
He can mark, he can defend, he knows, he sees space. I mean, he's not the quickest of guys, but he's also got foot movement that allows him to be able to alleviate himself around defenders or beat defenders, etc. With just movement in terms of either the body, etc. And I think for me, not many players are able to do that in terms of midfield, etc. So for me, that makes him, I think, number 1.
Like really
Number
up there.
1, yeah.
Could you compare him to somebody like right now in modern day football? I mean, look at modern day football midfielders. I'm thinking. Well, KDB is not that good defensively,
100%.
but he's up there. You have Jude Bellingham now but he doesn't have vision
Yes.
like Iniesta.
Correct. It's hard to. It's actually very difficult to be able to.
Kante. I would say Kante is not that bad, but he's just more defensive.
Correct.
box to
Yeah.
box.
So Kante, I would put in the same bracket as your Gennaro Gattuso from AC Milan back in the day.
Yeah.
Hard worker. Is gonna give you 100% every single time.
Yeah.
Put him in any position, and he'll play any position.
He'll
Why?
do his
Because
job.
because why he loves football.
Do you think if it wasn't for football, you wouldn't be the son in you are today, or you'd be the same son?
That's a good question. That's 100%. Look, I've always believed that I think if it wasn't for football, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. There's a lot of things that I've learned or I've encountered in football that have shaped who I am today. Just speaking about discipline, speaking about going through challenges within football itself, and then spilling into my personal life as well. Because there'll be games whereby you'll lose, there'll be games whereby you're going to win. Similar life concept that I use. There'll be days whereby it's going to be great days. There'll be days whereby it's not going to be such great days. So I think football did mold me in a sense in terms of to be able to prepare me for whatever it is that I was going to face in terms of life, etc. Whether it was on the pitch, whether it was off the pitch. And I feel like it also, because naturally I've always been an introverted person. I'm the kind of person that if I'm seated right now in a room of people, I'll be the quiet guy who's listening to what everybody's saying. Not because I'm not trying to be being antisocial, but I just like to hear what everybody's saying. And whenever there's a moment for me to say something, I'll always say something in that specific moment. But if you see Simon on the football pitch, it's completely different.
It's
You know,
loud.
I'm loud, vocal, aggressive. You know, because
Yeah.
it just brings out a different aspect
Yeah.
within me that I enjoy. It's
Yeah.
just a sense of freedom, you know, that you get when you're playing football, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's proper. That's proper. So obviously we've obviously gotten into the place where we've understood that you played for Amazulu.
Yes,
you know
yes,
that you
yes.
started at a young age. But now I just want to like work through a bit of a timeline.
Uh-huh.
Talk to us about when you signed.
Uh-huh.
Where? How did they
How-
get you?
uh-huh.
How did they see Simon? Where were
Walk us
you?
through this
Yeah.
journey. Walk
What
us through.
position
Yeah.
were you playing? You know?
So strangely enough, when I was still playing primary school football, I had a couple of guys that were playing with me in the primary school team that then were joining clubs. You know, so you get to an age at, let's say, 12, 13,
Yeah.
whereby, yes, you know, primary school football is only obviously for a term. Once the term is done, then football's done.
Yeah.
So there were some guys that are obviously playing for clubs. And there was a guy who was playing for Stella, which is up in Glenwood.
Yeah.
So he was playing for Stella, and the coach at Stella then, I remember his name very, very, you know, much, because he played a pivotal role to be able to get me to a stage whereby I started to think of football professionally. And his name was Anand Perusnat. So then he was looking for guys to come and join the under-13 Stella team. And then he obviously spoke to my friend. He asked my friend whether there were other guys that, you know, were in the area that could play football. So then he said yes. So they invited me to obviously come play at Stella. And then I played for Stella. I think it was for the under-13 team. And then I played for the slightly for the under-15 team. And then when my coach then, Mr. Anand Perusnand, had left Stella,
Yeah.
he went and then opened up a different club within Sydenham. So the guys that are obviously playing at Stella, we all then followed him there.
Yeah.
And then there was obviously a friendly game that we had against Amazulu Juniors. And then we played against, I think, Amazulu Juniors. And I think it was in the first 10, 15 minutes, I think I scored, I think it was 3 goals that I scored during that
Fastest hat-trick
fastest hat
in
trick.
South
Yeah.
Africa.
I used to be quick.
Take
guys.
note, guys. Take
Yes,
note.
I used to be quick.
Yeah.
I used to be quick. I've lost a little bit of speed now that I'm older, but I'm still quick. So I do still play over 35s every Sunday, and yeah, still have the pace. So from that game against obviously Amazulu, the coach then that was there then scouted a couple of us who want to come and join the Amazulu development, because during that time Amazulu actually didn't have a well-structured development.
Yeah.
They only had under 13, under 15, and under 17. Those are the only ones that they basically had. So they were still trying to start up their development structures, etc., because they had then just been relegated to the National First Division, and then they were looking to make their way back into the PSL again. So they obviously collected a couple of guys to be able to put together the development. And then from then, the moment I joined Amazulu, I
What
just
year
think,
was this?
yeah, I was in 2002, if I'm not mistaken, 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
2002, 2003. And then just from there, every season, I just kept on graduating from under 13 to under 15 to under 17 to reserves. And then eventually, while Mangoba Mgriti was part and parcel of Amazulu during that time, he was obviously a very firm believer in the youth. He wanted to obviously give guys within the youth structure an opportunity. So while I was still playing for reserves, I got an opportunity under Joel Fire, who was then the reserve team coach then. They identified a couple of us. I think it was about 5 of us. It was myself. There was a guy, Smusi Somdanda, who went on to represent Jomo Cosmos. Brilliant Kuzwayo, who played for both Orlando Pirates as well as Kaizer Chiefs, under national under 23 as well.
You played alongside him.
I played alongside him in Amazulu Reserves. Yes, he's the goalkeeper. Yeah, goalkeeper, and 2 other guys. So they'd given us what is known as a junior contract. So a junior contract just basically stipulates we've identified you guys as potential guys to be able to make it into the first team and to be able to make it professionally, etc. So my first team contract that I signed professionally was when I was 17 years old. Yeah, that was for Amazulu. So 17 years old.
What year was that?
That was in, I'm trying to think now. 2007, 2006, 2007.
2006, 2007.
Yeah, 2006, 2007, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I was in grade 11 going to matric.
Yeah.
I was grade 11 because I remember there was a period in time whereby there were some games that we needed to play, and then I wouldn't be able to attend school then. And within school as well, because I used to do 100 meters, 200 meters, etc. I used to represent school at the intra-district schools, athletics day, etc. Yeah, so I remember it very vaguely. There was one tournament that we needed to go play in, which was the Supersport Under-19 Cup. And during that weekend was the actual intra-district schools tournaments, schools athletics tournaments, etc. that was taking place here at Kings Park. And I remember my athletics teacher always wanted me to do athletics.
Yeah.
Like it was I wanted to play football.
So you had like two voices.
Yes, two voices. Yes, because I wanted to play football on this side, but my athletics teacher was also this side. Said, listen, you've got great talent to be able to become an athlete, in terms of 100 meters, 200 meters, etc. But I think it's just the voice in the back of my head always just chose football. And I think it's because of the amount of freedom that I got playing football. Yeah, so first contract was signed when I was 17 years old. And so I used to train with the first team and reserve team at the same time, first team, reserve team at the first time. And then, so my junior contract was, I think the amount of money that I was earning during that time was 2,500 rand,
That's
which is a lot of money.
Yeah, that's weekly or
Yeah.
monthly?
Per month or
Per month.
Per month.
That's
per month,
not,
yeah.
yeah.
Especially because I was still in high school.
Yeah.
So I was still in high school, 2.5 in high school. I remember, guys, it's not like now where, unfortunately, economically, 2.5 was nothing. Back then, 2.5 was a lot of money, especially for a student like myself, who was still in school.
And the girls?
For some strange reason,
We not a
Yeah.
ladies' man type of man.
Not really.
Really?
Not really.
You were just
Really?
focused.
I was just focused, guys. Like
What
I
soccer
was,
player doesn't
I
have
was
that
literally
type of
focused.
characteristic ladies' man?
I was literally focused. Like you'll never used to find me going to parties. You never used to find me maybe doing specific things, etc. I was just driven on, I want to do this. I want to do this. And I think I can give credit to a couple of people. Firstly, I think it's because my mom, who's also got a similar mindset in terms of when you want to do something, make sure that you do it wholeheartedly.
Yes.
So at a young age, I realized there's a lot of sacrifices that I need to make personally if I really want to make this thing work. No offense to the guys that go out and party and drink, etc. But when I was growing up, I saw that as detriment to my success. If I really want to make it professionally, these are the things that I then need to now look at mitigating and moving away from in order for me to be able to make that. I had friends. I had a lot of friends that used to go out, party, drink, etc. And that never used to affect me because half the time I was training. And I think maybe that's also something that kept me away from all these things because Monday to Friday I'm training, weekends it's games, and I don't have enough time to be able to either party or go out, etc. So those are some of the things. And then second person who obviously got me there was Mr. Anand Parusnand, which was my stellar coach then. And I think the way he used to either train us and the way he used to make us think was in the notion of, if you want to become a footballer, you need to walk like a footballer, you need to talk like a footballer, and you need to behave like a footballer. And that for me, when I was at a young age, stuck with me throughout my footballing career up until now as well. So that's why you'll find that most of the times, again, you won't find me partying, you won't find me going out, etc. Because that's just the lifestyle I chose myself. It wasn't forced upon me. It's just a decision, a conscious decision that I made, to be able to be like, this is what I want to do and this is how I'm basically going to do it. Till today, I don't drink. Strangely enough.
Is it?
So, no.
Let's talk about every footballer's worst nightmare, which is hanging up your boots. I mean, that's like the worst thing that could ever happen, So, at what moment did that click into you that at some point I got to hang up my boots? When did that moment
Just on that note as well, so you did sign a contract in 2007.
Correct. Yes.
And then you played for how many years?
So 2007 I played up until so professionally and that's including your SAB, your what is known now as Motsepe, etc.
Yeah.
I played up until it was 2015, 2016. Professionally, I only played for 3 years.
Yeah.
So 3 years professionally. I stopped playing professionally in 2010, and then from 2010 onwards, because I was involved with a lot of because KZN is such a small kind of community of footballers. Every single coach knew every single player, etc., which then made it easier for when I left the game. I left the game, and then I think I went through a hiatus for 1 year whereby I was just like, I don't want to be involved in football, I don't, etc. I then decided to go and study. I studied through ETA to be able to get myself, something behind my name, etc. And in that time, that's when coaches used to call me to be able to come and play for different teams, etc. To be able to assist them here. So I'll get phone calls, maybe like, hey, listen, there's a tournament that's happening on a Saturday. Are you keen? Okay, let me go play. It's only maybe 3-4 games. I go play there, etc. And then so I carried on doing that, and then went into the Motsepe League, went into the SAB League up until 2015, etc.
2015-16 season.
2015-16 season. Then after that, there comes a time whereby you look and you're just like, I don't want to be holding up a space for a young player.
Was that really the thought?
100%.
It was really the case.
That was really the case.
Was it like, my
Maybe
legs?
it wasn't the competition.
That wasn't the competition.
It's the competition.
That wasn't. Yeah, that was. You know what? I'm a firm believer when you're looking at your Vodacom and SAB leagues. It's for young guys. Guys that between the ages of 14, 15, 16, 17. Why? Because they're plying their trade, trying to make it professionally.
Yeah.
And for us guys who've been through the system already, to be able to be there. Now, I can be there to be able to guide. But I don't want to be there to be able to be the guy that starts in the game while a 16-year-old is sitting on the bench. Because then he's missing out on that period for him to be able to develop as a player. I don't mind being within a team whereby I'm sitting and I'm guiding young players. Hey, listen, this is how you do this, behave, etc., and so forth and so forth. So that was the decision that I made during that time, to be able to be like, you know what? I just feel like I'm holding up a space here for a younger player to be able to showcase their basically talent. I was fortunately enough to have been given an opportunity to be able to play structured football at a very, very young age. I've traveled South Africa. I wasn't gonna be able to do that if I didn't play football. I've been to places that I never thought I'd ever be. Within South Africa at no cost to my own, etc. So I just felt that an aspect of me wanted to be able to allow another individual, a young player, to be able to experience what I experienced, because that then also changed my life personally in terms of how I think in life, how I do things, etc. So 2015, 2016, that's when I decided to, semi-pro, I'm done. I'd rather go play, your Sunday leagues, etc. with the guys, which I now still do, etc. Yeah.
2015.
So what did that take from you to just take that decision from the blue and be like, yo, I just want to hang my boots? What did it take from you?
I think situations, professionally, I just, and I always use the term politics, but I think it's not a word I would like to use. But when you get to a stage whereby, okay, you've made it professionally, you're in the system, etc., and then there's a transition that happens within the club. Yes, and then within the club, you find yourself that, okay, there's a new management, new structure, etc., and that new management, new structure then says, okay, we acknowledge that you are, part and parcel of the team, etc., but we want you now to then focus on, plying your trade within the reserves, etc. So for me personally, that felt like a step back. So I was like, but and that's one thing in life that I always look at, is that if I'm not moving forward, it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So that step back, then I sat and just looked at it and said, what, as much as I enjoyed the game, and I'm from a family of academics. My mother had given me this ample opportunity to go out and really, really chase my dream, etc. But in the back of my mind, there was always that notion. It's always been, make sure you have something, because you never know what might happen tomorrow. So that's what basically brought me into going into study sports. So I started off here at ETA, coaching science diploma that I studied, and luckily enough for me, there was a guy here at Amazulu by the name of Peter O'Connor, and he was really driving the idea of educating footballers.
Yeah.
Because a lot of footballers that I encountered were guys that maybe finished either grade 10, grade 11, and continued playing football.
Yeah.
So what he was trying to do was trying to create an environment whereby, with the assistance of Amazulu, to be able to get a scholarship for guys to be able to go and study. And I mean, it was given to everybody, and as it's sad to say that only 2 of us grabbed that opportunity to be able to get that bursary and go and study. The bursary was offered to everybody, but only 2 of us were like, you know what, let's take this. I think it was Steel Bank. Yeah, Steel Bank bursary. And then with Steel Bank, there was obviously an opportunity. He said, hey, listen, there's a company that is called, ETA College. This is what they basically do. If you're interested, you can always come back into an Amazulu setup whereby you can either be a coach, etc., by actually doing this qualification. So I was like, you know what, I've always been a person personally who believes in giving back, because I've been giving so much. And for me, my mantra is always, if you're given something, always try to pay it back somehow. So that was the idea behind, let me go study this coaching science thing and maybe get back into Amazulu, and I'll be able to assist where I can to be able to unearth the next kind of talent to be able to go and represent either Amazulu, either SA, etc. So that was the idea behind the retiring, etc. It was just that I've just felt that I got to a point whereby I'm starting to move backwards now. And me moving backwards, my age is still moving forwards. So there needs to be something that I need to do right now in order to be able to, number one, secure my future as an individual. Because, look, let's be honest, football's a 10-year career.
Yeah.
After 10 years,
it's done up.
It's done. It's done up.
Some people force it though, like
100%. 100%. I think it's for most people, it's the difficulty is letting go.
Yeah,
because football creates a routine, and for human beings, it's very difficult for you to be able to get out of that routine.
Yeah.
This is why you find a lot of ex-players find it very difficult to be able to function fully. Why? Because in the morning we go and we train. In the afternoon we go and we train. On the weekends it's our games. We come back again. There will be certain situations whereby we're doing video analysis, we're doing this, etc. So you've gotten yourself into this routine, and the moment you get yourself out of it, it's very difficult for you to be able to adapt into a modern world if you haven't really, find yourself or find something that you can also look at doing outside of football.
Yeah.
Because with these guys, all they know is football. All they know is football. They live and breathe football. Yeah, they live and breathe football. So that's why you find some of these ex-guys very difficult for them to be able to adapt, etc. Fortunately, if you can't find yourself a space within the world or the universe, etc., there's avenues like alcohol, drug abuse then start coming in. I mean, if we had guys, when I was playing, guys that, you're looking at 2005, 2006 that were earning 20, 30,000 rand. That's a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money back then. And
And now
it's not that much.
Nothing. Can blow it in a day.
Pretty much. But again,
you
that
blow 30,000
30,000 rand a
pretty
day.
much,
Can blow it
pretty
in a
much.
day.
So that then, without the financial knowledge, Oaks used to be able, you spend that money.
Yeah.
You spend that money. Yeah. So that's just the aspect of me leaving football at a professional level at Amazulu and then just pursuing, the behind the scenes, etc. of studying.
Are any
and so
of the
forth.
boys that you're playing with still playing currently, or they've all?
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Kuzo was, yes, he stayed, but I know he's now retired because he's obviously had a foot problem, foot injury.
He's a pundit now.
Yeah, he's a pundit now. So I'm just trying to think from my
What's
era.
a pundit?
Those guys that sit down and like, oh yeah.
Analysts,
So
basically, yeah.
Oh,
Basically analysts, yeah. There are a couple of guys.
I'm not a soccer fan.
There are a couple of guys that I played against.
Yeah.
Yes, in the development ranks, but not in the same, team as myself. Like if you look at the Supersport Under 19 tournament, I played against guys like Tulani Serrero,
Yeah.
Tulani Hlachwayo. I've played against Bradley Cobra, who's now at Supersport. I played against. I'm trying to just remember names here.
Tembazwane.
Tembazwane, no. Yeah, he's
He's
younger. Sianda Kulu, he was there
yeah.
under 19. There's a couple of guys that are in the under 19 now that we did play against. I just can't remember their name fully. Yeah, and that gave a lot of guys a platform for them to be able to go. Kamegelo Mokhojo, yes, he was at School of Excellence, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he was at School of Excellence. So that's just some of the guys that I did play with and play against as well. Yeah.
So, we've been talking about your life, right? I like things to go easy, man. So let's have a little game real quick.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna pick because we've already done midfielders.
Okay.
Let me see if I can test you somehow, man. Like, let's say defenders. Right. It's 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna play with you because he's gonna say Iker Casillas.
You've been on my case.
I'll play with you. It's 30 seconds.
Okay.
Right? Whoever names the most defenders in 30 seconds wins. Alright. They have to be currently playing as well.
Currently playing.
Are you boys gonna keep the time? You boys gonna keep the time? No, you're gonna keep the time, bro.
I'm the time.
Yeah.
We're looking at local. We're looking at local, international as well.
Everything.
Who's keeping counts? We're gonna go 1, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah, the boys are they're gonna keep count there.
Okay.
Right? And then whoever names the most in 30 seconds. Right?
Okay.
Do you want me to start, or
No,
would
let's
you
go,
like?
yeah.
You can't name the same as me.
No, you go.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, cool.
100%.
Tell me 3, 2, 1. You guys must count, eh?
2, 1, let's go.
Let's start with Liverpool.
Okay.
Virgil, Dragomir, Konate, Andrew Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Costa Tsimikas. Let's go South Africa. Happy is not playing anymore. Hlatrayo, Hlanti, Mpahlele, Harry Maguire, Lindelof, Martinez,
Okay,
Diaz.
stop. Time out.
How many? How many?
14. I counted 14.
Yeah,
14.
did you count 14?
I counted 14.
14?
Give him the 15.
That's bad.
Throw him the 15.
Throw him the beat.
Yeah,
Give him
stop.
that one extra one.
Hold on.
Give him that one extra one.
15 and 30 seconds, that's mad. Okay, let's go. Sides,
Seconds.
defenders.
Wait,
Let me just remember the ones that you mentioned.
Hold on. You can't say the ones. I know who I mentioned.
Okay,
Let's go.
3.
Okay, wait. Let's
Okay.
see.
Tell me to go.
No, but he's thinking.
Yeah,
Why are
let's
you
go.
going?
3,
I'm ready.
2, 1, let's go.
Okay, we've got Skakane who plays for Amazulu. We've got Johnny Evans. We've got Carvajal plays for Madrid. We've got damn it, I had all these names in my head. Sergio Ramos still plays? Yes.
Yeah.
Sergio Ramos still plays. John Stones.
Time out.
What?
Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. And the winner
Name
is...
4. Name 5. Come on.
No.
Like you can, like you got them in the head,
Yeah.
but then it's just trying to remember them.
But
Okay,
like, then
fine.
again, you played football.
Okay, let's
Understand.
make it forwards. Let's make it forwards.
Forwards.
Yeah, just forwards. Like, come on.
Okay, we can do
Yeah.
forwards.
You can start this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Okay, Kylian Mbappe, Lewandowski, Memphis Depay, Haaland. Ooh. Damn it, trying to think of all this. Højlund from Manchester United, Martial. Did I say Kylian Mbappe?
Yeah.
Okay, I said Kylian Mbappe. Diego Costa.
Yeah.
Okay,
Jackson.
Time is up.
How many?
It's 10.
10.
Nah, he's counting wrong. Don't look at his
Okay,
arm.
he's
Don't look at his arm.
10. 5 this side, 5 that
Okay, it's your
side.
time. Turn number
10.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Salah, Firmino, Garnacho, Anthony, Messi, Suarez, boy, Jackson, He just makes you drunk. Oh my goodness, bro. Oh my goodness, bro.
See what I'm saying? Like they're there.
Jordan Ayew and his brother, Andrew.
Time up.
Oh, you mad?
Right.
Told you.
Told you.
Look.
Told
Okay.
you.
Yeah, we can get back to it, man. He knows his football.
100%.
Only
knows
with
football.
strikers, though. Only with strikers.
All the strikers.
I was a defender, and I only ended up at school level. I was a professional school player. Alright.
Yeah, hey boys.
Obviously, we've talked about your career. We've talked about your transition after football. Started learning. Started getting into behind the scenes. I want to have. I want you to take me to your world now after football. You know. What is it looking like now? Are you still in contacts? Are you friends with any of your old teammates? Best friend right now?
Yeah. So a lot of the guys that I played with, we actually play against each other in the Sunday League. So there's a Sunday League that plays at in Durban North, and majority of the guys that I played with, played against, are all there now. So we're all there. Every Sunday we come together. It's a league format. Everybody's got different teams that they basically play against. So I do bump into them there. We have conversations, stories about the past, etc. Currently, right now, so I lecture here at ETA College, but I also run obviously a company called Sing Sports and Wellness. And then with Sing Sports and Wellness, I cover stuff like sports conditioning training, sports skills training. I do corporate wellness, I do massage, etc. So the idea behind Sing Sports was for me to be able to provide a holistic platform for young up-and-coming athletes to be able to be groomed, either physically, mentally, for them to be able to prepare them for going into a setup whereby, be a professional setup or be it a setup like, let's say, Amazulu, because things work differently, There's specific academies whereby there is structure, and then there's specific academies whereby there is no structure. So I just feel like, especially kids that don't have an opportunity to be able to get the same kind of experience that I got at Amazulu, whereby the training sessions were like this is what we did, conditioning, etc. So I thought, why not create a company that then bridges that gap, whereby individuals can come to me, I can condition them in a specific aspect, I can give them specific skills for specific positions, and then that then allows them to be able to go and trial at other different places in order for them to be able to pursue their professional careers, etc. So that was just my idea behind Sing Sports, is to provide a platform for young individuals to be able to, hone their craft in terms of their skills as a footballer, their fitness as a footballer, and just preparing themselves for whenever they've gotten an opportunity to go and either trial at a specific team, or maybe they've been called already and assigning for them to be able to just get those skills to become better players, etc. So it's not only looking at guys that are up and coming, but it's also looking at guys that are already within football and are just looking at improving their skills, improving their overall fitness, etc. Because for me, I just feel like sometimes when I looked at it and I said, if I wasn't given the same kind of opportunities that I had while growing up as a footballer, the right kind of training, the right kind of conditioning, etc., would have I gotten to the destination that I've gotten without those things? And the answer is obviously no. So I just feel like there's a lot of guys out there don't have that opportunity. So I feel like personally from my side, given those opportunities, it's important for me to be able to provide a platform for these guys to be able to have at least an opportunity to be able to make it professionally. I have guys that come to me on a regular basis. Sometimes it's skills training, sometimes it's just questions. This is what I'm doing here. How do I improve here? What mindset do I need to have? And those are just some of the things that I encounter with young players now, that I'm able to plow back in a sense whereby I'm able to give advice. Because back then I don't think I was open enough to be able to give advice. But now that I'm a little bit old and wise, I'm able to give advice in terms of what to do, what not to do, where to go, and etc. So that's what I'm currently doing right now. I run my own obviously business, and I'm obviously a lecturer here at ETA College.
Have you discovered any new hobbies, passions?
Strangely enough that you asked that. I've actually started painting.
Painting?
And yes, but not painting like pictures or anything. but just painting. So like this room here, so if like we need to paint the wall, etc.,
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy that. And I only discovered this, it was a couple of weeks ago, whereby someone asked me to paint a cupboard for them, and I started painting it for them, and just something in me just enjoyed
Made
that.
you happy.
100%. Yeah, it's a difficult kind of, yeah. It's a difficult, yes. Yeah. It's a difficult thing to explain.
What a
but-
transition from soccer
Yeah.
to painting.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it. So that's something that I've discovered now is painting, and also just interacting with different people on a regular basis. I feel like I'm a scholar, like I'm a natural scholar. And when I say that is that I enjoy learning, and for me it's not about age, or it's not about I can learn something from you even though you're younger than me. You could learn something from and I enjoy that, having conversation with the individuals. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Because then it just, for me, it then creates an environment whereby you are able to grow and develop, because I get bored when there's no development and there's no growth. I'm that kind of a person whereby things need to be happening, and conversations, etc., need to be happening, and then that way we're all developing and growing, etc.
Just on the development and growth, I want to ask you, I mean, I'm pretty sure you get this question all the time, we always talk about it, but I feel like now is a perfect platform to talk about football as a whole, and from where you were to where it is right now, is it moving somewhere? Do you see it potentially getting better? And what are the problems that we are facing right now in football?
So look, there's a lot more opportunities for players to get scouted now than back then, and the reason why I say this is because of social media. Back then we didn't have stuff like the Disky Challenge, we didn't have stuff like Super Sports Schools, for example. I know Super Sports Schools have just gone beyond schools and now also showcasing stuff like the Gauteng League, where your Chiefs, your Pirates, all these other teams within Joburg are playing amongst each other, and they're being shown on TV. That then nullifies a scout having to travel long distances. They can easily watch the games there. So I feel like the game has grown in a sense whereby there's ample opportunities for young people to get scouted, but we sit with the same problem where there's not enough development, in a sense, structured development for young people to be able to fully get a holistic kind of approach to allow them to be able to get to a professional setup. Not a lot of clubs, have got access to stuff like bios, stuff like nutritionists, etc. Those are vital components to become a holistic player. And I think that for me is the difference. And I hate comparing your overseas to here, but there always has to be a benchmark somewhere, and the benchmark is that. So if we're nowhere near that, then it starts meaning that we're lacking somewhere. And unfortunately, not every single young person has got the opportunity to be able to go into a setup whereby they've got bios, physios, etc. So I just feel like, yes, it's heading in the right direction, but there's still some gaps that we need to fill, as either from an administrative perspective, as well as a coaching perspective, and a structural perspective in terms of programs to be able to develop players within South Africa. That way then, it's going to filter into our national team, and then I'm still a firm believer of us winning a World Cup as South Africa's Bafana one day.
We have to win the World
That's-
Cup. One day is one day, boys.
And that's my notion. There's just that systems in place need to be a lot better. Yeah.
How were you as a... Sorry, were you saying something, bro?
No, carry on, man. Carry on.
How were you as a player in terms of like prepping? Like, tell me about your tradition. Like,
Funny story is, the only time I ever started thinking about stuff like, what do they call it? There's a term that they call it, superstitions. The only time I started thinking about superstitions is when I got a little bit older. There were specific things that we used to do, specific things that we used to do within our team that sometimes were I don't know whether it was coincidence or whether it was just that, whereby, we always, I think within black teams it's called Inyanga. So you used to visit Inyanga, and then those rituals that you used to do, etc. And then on game day, you guys will just perform well. There'll be situations that you'll find yourselves within the game whereby you're like, that ball should have gone in, but it didn't go in. So I didn't know whether it was either psychologically or it was an actual thing that was happening. Yeah, I remember it was a game we played. I think it was Princess Makoko. It was Sundowns versus Amazulu, Princess Makoko. We needed to win that game in order for us to be able to move away from the relegation zone. It was if we won that game, it means we're safe. And then the management etc. went and got some guy from somewhere, and there was this. It's a ball like this. So that ball was said. We needed to take that ball and put it on the where the net is. You put it onto the nets etc. Sundowns couldn't score that game. Sundowns couldn't. We got one chance. We buried the chance. One-on-ones. You know where it's you could literally see that this is supposed to be a goal. Yes. For some strange reason, it hit the pole, come back, and then etc. The whole game was just like that up until we won the year.
That is crazy.
So I don't know where it's coincidence or whether stuff like that does happen. But ritual-wise, I don't know. For me, it was just about preparation. Yeah. I just felt like if I trained hard, during the training session, automatically it's gonna filter into, game day. If I had a really bad training session, automatically I knew in the game I'll have a bad game, etc. So I just made sure that my preparation for the game was always on point. Giving 100%. Like I was probably one of the few players that gave 100% at the training session because I knew if I didn't, it was going to affect me during match days.
Favorite meal before a game?
Favorite meal before a game? Strange enough, I'll say pasta.
Pasta.
I'll say pasta. But the reason why I say pasta is because that's all we ate Amazulu pre-game at junior level.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's all we ate, and I feel like that made it. For some reason in the back of my mind, I just felt that maybe that helped me to be able to. Yeah, so pasta's always been my favorite. Yeah, favorite pre-match meal.
And your favorite pre-game song?
Favorite pre-game song?
That one song that put you in the vibe. You wanna go?
No, there was this song, Umamagam Nomtandas.
Oh,
that was by far one of the most enjoyable songs.
I don't know, bro.
Huh? That was the most one.
Yeah. Can you boys share the video? I'll share the video. Yeah.
So that song that put me into a mood. Yes, yeah.
Interesting journey, very very interesting journey, Simon. And what's one message that you can tell the upcoming youth about sports in general? Yeah. What's one thing you can tell them?
So from my side, I always say if you've got a passion, to play football, passion to play cricket, passion to play hockey, passion to play rugby, etc. You can't just speak about it. There has to be an action behind it. There's a lot of there's somewhere where I read is like it's one thing wanting something, and it's one thing actually going out and trying to get it. And I think a lot of the times we all want to be professionals, but are we willing to make the sacrifice to be able to become a professional? The training, the disappointments, the discipline, the sacrifices. Are you willing to do all these? Not one or two, all of them.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to do that and you couple it with hard work, there's no ways you're not going to achieve something. There's no ways you're not going to achieve something. And I think that's very important, especially for young people, to understand that it's not for everybody. I think everybody sees the glitz and glamour of professional sports. Nobody sees what goes on inside professional sports. The amount of hard work, the amounts of discipline, the amounts of dedication, the amounts of disappointment that goes into becoming a professional player. Everybody sees the end product, but nobody sees exactly what happens in between the time frame of an amateur into a professional. And it doesn't stop at professional. Just because you've got it here, it doesn't mean the stuff in the middle stops. You carry it on. It becomes even a lot more at a professional level. Why? Because there's now people that are watching you, and then it starts becoming a little bit difficult in the sense that there's no off days. I can't switch off. I can't rock up this weekend, we're playing this team and I feel I'm going to give 80% because then we're going to lose the game. I can't rock up there and give that. It's 100% every single time for 30 odd games minus cup games, etc. You need to be switched on 100%. And if you're able to do that, you'll make it within sports. But it's just sitting down with yourself and literally saying, am I willing to be able to make these things, these sacrifices that are in between you? And if you're willing to do that without fail and without, when giving 100%, then you have an opportunity to be able to make it professionally. Not everybody's going to make it professionally. But I always say, rather give yourself enough opportunity by doing the work, so that if I do get to a stage where I don't make it professionally, I then don't look back and be like, ish, if only I woke up every day and ran, maybe I would have made it professional. If only I didn't do this. But if I've done that, then it just means that it wasn't my time, or it wasn't meant for me to be able to become a professional player. Not all of us can become professional players, guys. That's just how it is.
It's life, man.
It's life.
Part of life.
It's part of life.
It's part of life. I think, man, we've come to the conclusion of our show today. Just so happy to have you here. As podcast ritual, please on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe at Broadcasting Media. We have Instagram at Broadcasting Media, TikTok at Broadcasting Media, Facebook at Broadcasting Media. Thank you so much.
And before you just cut it, sorry. Simon, can you just mention that business you have and tell the people?
Yeah. So it's called Sing Sports and Wellness.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook as well at Sing Sports and Wellness. You'll find me on Instagram as well as Facebook.
Personal? I'm playing. Thank you so much to the Broadcasting Media production team as well. Give me a round of applause, guys. Yay. Just before we end, Simon, leave us with a quote.
Word of the day.
Yeah, word of the day.
Word of the day. Let me think.
The second word of the day.
Word of the day.
Never give up.
Success. I read this when I was young, very, very young, and I remember it stuck with me. Success is not hocus pocus; it's focus.
Ooh, you heard that?
Ooh.
Do you have a word of the day for us, Wenzo? Just leave us on the high.
Never give up, bro. Never give up. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining us at the couch.
100%.
It's been good. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
See you next time.
Umthakathi ngelingenisi